Welcome back to Two Dudes Reviews, and today we're tasting some of the CAO line. We've got two different cigars here, Andy, that you were able to pick up at our local brick and mortar shop. Tell us a little about what we're going to be smoking here today.
Well, I picked this one because it's got a really cool label. Mm-hmm. It's a CAO Gold Nasty Nutcracker. It's pretty cool looking. So I know nothing of the CAO line. It was just something that I saw and I thought, let's try these this time. Jay, what can you tell me about CAO?
From what my experience with CAO has been somewhat inconsistent. I've had some great CAOs. I've also had some not so great CAOs. What you're holding right there is a holiday-themed CAO. They did several different releases. I believe the last year, at least that I could find, that they made the Nasty Nutcracker was 2014. So there's a good chance that you're looking at a cigar that's got some pretty good age on it.
Nice.
I'm not sure if that's a 2014 or not. They may have continued the line. But a beautiful kind of Connecticut shade wrap, and yeah, a fun label. It doesn't look like an expensive label, but it looks like a fun label.
Yeah, it smells pretty good too.
And I'm having the Brazilia from CAO. This is your standard Robusto size, about 50-inch ring gauge by maybe 5.5, 5.25 or so. Brazilian Puro, I do believe. Got a great, nice, dark, earthy tobacco kind of nose to it here. So gonna crack these suckers open and start toasting.
Roasting, toasting, one way or the other. You know, we did this. We talked about Cuban cigars a couple weeks ago, and talked about that triple cap, and I see a lot of that here in this cigar.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a big kind of a cap on the end, which I never noticed until you mentioned it about the Cubans.
Yeah.
So, what are you getting on that first draw, Jay?
I try not to judge a cigar from the first draw because my palate is not necessarily set up or ready for it, so a lot of times it can be rather overpowering. Nice big earthy tones, just like indicative of the nose on the tobacco. Didn't do a cold draw on this. Not incredibly harsh, not a lot of tannins, not a lot of bite to it or bitterness. A nice nose to the smoke right now. This a little on the sweet side.
Yeah.
I know they did this in a box press. This is a traditional round press, but I'm pretty sure they did this particular cigar in a box press. Nice dark wrapper, almost Maduro as far as the color shade is there. Possibly a little light for Maduro wrap, but it's a nice, beautiful wrap. Visible seams, vein structure is minimal. So far, so good. How about yourself?
This is really mild. I really like it. It's easy draw. Again, like you said, earthy, but again, really mellow. Kind of not dark and heavy.
Not bully you over.
No. It's actually really good for my personal palate. So I like it. Got a spot here that's not lighting on the end there, but it could be me. You know.
Could be the torch.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's keep up with this, and then we'll come back in the second, third. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Hey, we're back. All right.
Yeah.
We're just analyzing this cigar, and interesting that there's I took the wrapper off because it's a huge, or not a wrapper, but the label, right?
Yeah.
The label was really big, and I'm getting close to it, and I don't want to burn it, but we're noticing
It's a shade difference. It's all like I said to start with. From what I could tell, those were last made in 2014, so there's a chance that this has been sitting in humidor for the past year and a half, 2 years, you know?
Okay.
Which could have something to do with that color differentiation, almost where that label was.
Right.
Now, here's an interesting thought. Typically, when you're smoking cigars, I like to pair it with a big, bold spirit. You know, bourbon works great. A lot of people like Scotch. Sometimes a nice rich beer does well, sometimes a nice port Rarely would I think of drinking a nice red wine with a cigar, because usually a cigar will decimate it. And I've never thought of pairing it with a white wine, and we've got two different white wines out here. This is just an inexpensive Pinot Grigio Barefoot Sparkling, sweet, a little minerally. And Andy over here is drinking Bent Metal Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, this is a 2015 Sauvignon Blanc from Bent Metal Winery. Great winery in the Sierra foothills of California, and we've been members there for, oh gosh, I've been a member there about 6 or 7 years now. About 2 months after they opened, I became member of their wine club. So it's really been amazing to watch their wines grow and get better as the years go on. And we had been drinking that Pinot Grigio, that Barefoot Pinot Grigio, just as something to sip on as we're hanging out through the day. And I thought I want to stay with something kind of light and bright. It was beautiful outside, but I thought we were out of that.
Yeah.
So I opened this, and it turns out we have another bottle of that, and we'll be drinking that later, maybe. I don't know, but it's interesting, like Jave said, to go between that Sauvignon Blanc and this might pair well. I haven't tried it yet. It might pair well, really well with this cigar. It's very mild. This cigar is super mild. Very smooth.
While you were away checking to see if there was another bottle of this bubbly, I did try some of that, and this cigar decimated that. However, because of the sweetness and the minerally qualities of this sparkling and the very, very minerally qualities and earthy qualities of this cigar, it paired very, very nicely. It was a nice compliment. This is a little bit more of a milder, creamier cigar. That wine is definitely on the mild side. It's got some nice floral overtones, a little bit of honey in there.
Kind of honey apple a little bit. I get a little apple.
How does that work together?
Actually, really well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how well this cigar works with this wine. Okay. So, who'd have thunk? And, normally I'm out here with a cigar and a glass of bourbon. So, but this cigar particularly is very, very mild, very easy smoking.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, more my style than the bigger, bolder cigars. For a full session or whatever, and
that's a big smoke.
This is a big smoke.
Yeah.
So
this is developing nicely. I'm starting to get some of the cinnamons, some of the sweeter, spicier spices in this. Still a big earthiness. I wouldn't say that I get the warm, round leathers with this cigar right here. It's still a little edgy.
See, this is that warm, round leather you're talking about.
Yeah.
A light leather, not a real heavy, dark, kind of a little leather flavor to it. Maybe like I said, bright. This just to me is bright, and it goes very, very well with a Sauvignon Blanc. So if you pick up the Nasty Nutcracker from CAO, pair it. I love the name too, and the label's fantastic. But pair it with a nice Sauvignon Blanc. Check that out. See how that works for you. Continue on with these two cigars and bring you more info in a little bit.
So we're actually celebrating something that happened in America this week and or last week. We won't talk about it necessarily.
No, we're not political at all.
We're not political at all. No. Coming toward the, this is almost the third of these two cigars. Andy's cigar was significantly larger. I'm a pretty fast smoker. You're a medium to fast, depending upon how dark it is.
Right.
Yours looks like it's burning great.
It's burning all right.
How's it taste?
Tastes good. It's got getting a little more spice to it, a little hotter as cigars always do, right? But still that mellow and smooth. And again, with this wine, you can take a little swig of it and kind of mellows that out for me. So for my palate, this is a perfect combination.
So this Brazilia, experiencing a little bit of construction issues. The wrap is starting to flake off down here. The burn started to become very, very uneven going into the third here, and then started tunneling. As quickly as I tried to smoke this without completely burning out my palate, it failed to materialize. So I'm use my torch here. Now, when you have a tunneling issue, and Rod taught us this, you can check out the link to the Alexa video that tells you more about this right here. Check that link. Shut up, Alexa.
Stop saying Alexa.
Sorry, it was the name of the cigar. Rod said to do one of these numbers. Blow out. And then puff.
I have to hit it again. So while he's blowing...
Yeah, you see that? The end of the cigar just came completely undone there.
Nice.
And it's not like I was really slobbering on that. I'm not a big slobberer.
No. You mentioned kind of construction issue, right? I mean, obviously, and I'm going to bring this back to coffee, right? The world's largest producer of coffee is Brazil, and so I buy Brazilian beans because they're inexpensive, and so you can use them in blends for coffee. Don't get me wrong. There's a full range of quality in all commodities, right? Obviously. I buy only specialty grade coffee for Warrior Roasters, but it is still less expensive. There's a higher volume produced. I have to wonder about that for tobacco.
Yeah.
Is there more? Is the Brazilian tobacco? Is that why
Brazilian tobacco, by and large, makes an okay filler. They tend to be incredibly mild, not a hell of a lot of character. Now this is a dark Brazilian. It reminds me a lot of the Donna Flor. There are some flavors indicative and unique to Brazil that I didn't notice until I lit this one up here, but I've heard about. But by and large, Brazil, not known as one of the premier tobacco growing regions in the world.
I just got a big hit of vanilla in this. But you mentioned, construction. I got a little split of the wrapper here. The farther I go in, the wrapper's coming apart a little bit. Yeah. Not affecting the flavor, obviously, but something obviously.
If it affects the draw or the smoke, then it's a challenge. And if this little split right here, which is happening right at the top of the cherry there, continues, that cigar could explode by the last third.
Yeah, explode. I should have a face mask or something.
Yeah.
Protective gear. So that now that you've relit that, how does that working for you? Is it better or the same? Or?
It's fine. It's becoming removed a bit from the earthy tones, but the minerals are still there right now. So if you like a mineral-y cigar, which to me is borderline bitter. I'm not a huge mineral guy in a cigar. I like, my personal preference is oaky, leathery, buttery, creamy, warm, big, round mouthfeel. Again, this cigar is a bit on the edgy side.
Okay.
If you like your cigar to have some bite to it, this is totally the one for you. And not overpowering bite, but right. It's present. It's definitely present, and so I can taste it.
This is coming quickly that way too, which is again all cigars. The farther you go, the hotter it's going to get. The more spice you're going to get to it.
Yeah.
How does that one work with that Sauvignon Blanc? So, as you're further down the cigar, does that mellow it out at all?
Not really. It's again, this is such a mineral-y cigar. It's decimating quite a bit the overtones that I got with that cigar and that wine right there, or just drinking that wine alone. I can get some depth, some character, some finish to it. And this, what happens is with a puff of this and a sip of that, it decimates any finish that would have been there with the wine.
Right.
It finishes like water. You get the initial mouthfeel and then finishes like water.
Yeah, and I can see that probably happening with this as I go along with this. Mm-hmm. It's gonna get bigger. It's gonna get bolder a little bit, and it's gonna burn a little hotter, and it's gonna be time to transition to something big and red, or a bourbon or a spirit. And I don't even want to go that. It's a little too early. It's time to almost do a tri-tip, which we'll want to then move to a red wine for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So it's two dudes reviews again. The CAO Brazilia and the CAO Nasty Nutcracker.
The Nasty Nutcracker.
Gotta love
If you
the
can
name.
find one, though, I'm going to recommend this cigar.
It's a cool cigar.
Regardless of the occasional construction flaw or whatever, it's been a real enjoyable smoke. I'll finish this off, and we'll get to barbecue and a tri-tip, and that's for another video.